Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned plot twist? But they don't just happen in the movies or on TV. Tonight or today, whenever you're watching this, some of the strangest real-life plot twists get deep fat fried.
Deep fat fried!
2022 will be the year that we literally drown you in content. 156 standard 30-minute episodes of Deep Fat Fried, 52 long-form episodes of Deep Fat Fried, 37 episodes of Dank D&D, live episodes of Onion Nuggets every Wednesday, new Cinema for Cynics reviews, Fighting Boys, Abandon Hope, Hideology, Ask Hollywood Love, and The Grease Trap. And even if you manage to watch it all, we still have a massive back catalog of old content that's going to blow your mind. We have got metric tons of old commentaries, grease traps, mountains of Deep Fat Fried episodes. We got oceans of flash fries. We got valleys of Abandon Hope and Hideology and other miscellaneous content you could watch for weeks, if not months, straight. And with all this content, both new and old, we have realized that it is time to simplify our Patreon. Yes! Right now, our Patreon is split into a $10 tier and a $5 tier. Now, this has long aggrieved us because our philosophy in this company is that simplicity is best. How do we create so much content? We keep it simple. We keep it streamlined. We commit to a process, and we constantly fine-tune that process. Anything that wastes time, we get rid of. Having two patron tiers is not in line with our philosophy. So, we've decided to unify into a single tier at the price point of $7. Join the Pessimist Productions Patreon today, because we are looking very forward to entertaining you all in 2022.
You're a strange fellow, TJ.
What's the biggest plot twist in your life, Scotty? Like in a real life story of your existence?
When I found out we're actually related.
Fuck, that is crazy.
I was like, really? They're like, I'm not adopted? How do you explain TJ being so freakishly ugly and small penis and foolish? They're like, no, this is a DNA test proving beyond a shadow of a doubt, he is your real brother.
What a depressing day for you.
And I was like, oh.
Interestingly, my biggest plot twist happened around penises, too. It was when my dad, I was like a teenager, and he was trying to get me to talk. And one of the things he said, he was like, us Parky men, we've kind of got small penises. And I was like, well, then, Dad, what's this? And I flopped out my big old horse wiener. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the anaconda came out.
Yeah. The
like,
snake was released. He was like, oh, my God. That's like 10 Parky penises. I was like,
You're no Parky. Explains a lot between you and your dad, Paul.
I know.
That explains it, man.
Penis envy, man.
I mean, yeah, when he saw that, it's all like, no son of mine.
He saw this big hog, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's in denial, dude. So how about this one, guys? Caroline Watson spent 6 days believing she and her boyfriend have been abducted by a satanic cult.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty crazy, huh? That's like a fucking plot of a movie right there.
Why does this never turn out to have anything to do with Satanism or a cult?
I don't know.
Every time you hear this shit, every time you hear it, it turns out that it had nothing to do with Satanism or a cult of any kind.
It's because it just sounds cool, dude. But like, it's not. There's not much of satanic cults just like prowling around.
You'd think they'd stop using it as a way to like fucking their early theory is a satanic cult when they know that every time they say that, like they got to go back on it later.
Oh man,
this is a placeholder, you know.
So at the time, Carol Watson, 17, her boyfriend Julian Buchwald, 22, were avid churchgoers in the area of Melbourne, Australia. They had been dating for 2 years when Buchwald invited Watson on a romantic picnic in the Australian countryside. As they were driving, Buchwald stopped briefly and got out to inspect a dead animal on the side of the road. The next thing Watson knew, she was being blindfolded and tied by a balaclava masked man who had stripped off her clothes, threw her in the back of a trunk, and drove. Oh, shit.
Sounds like a satanic cult so far.
I mean, it does, yeah. You see like an animal sacrifice.
The MO, you know, everything's matching up.
This is how we do it. I mean, how I've heard they do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When the vehicle finally stopped, Watson's blindfold was removed by her boyfriend, Buchwald. 2, who was also naked, by the way, and claimed both had been taken by a satanic cult and left alone in the wilderness. Damn, dude. I don't know why they left him alone, but...
That's some survival of the fittest shit with them. Satanists are into that shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, remember how the devil made Jesus like wander around the desert for 30 days and 30 nights while he was tempting them and shit? The devil likes that shit, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, the devil. I mean, you got to make people suffer, right?
Yeah.
So he managed to untie himself and helped her do the same. The pair wandered through the bushland for almost a week. And despite the fact that both were very religious and had pledged not to have sex before marriage, can't do it. Buchwald continuously suggested that they just get married and consummate it then and there in order to stay warm. I mean, that will help you stay warm, man. Oh, yeah, help you stay real warm.
Okay.
Got a problem with the story so far, TJ?
No,
I think
I see.
A problem with the
I
story?
think I'm starting to see where the twist.
I know what the twist is. I know what I've never heard of this, but I know what the twist is. The twist has just revealed itself.
The frightening debacle came to an end when the two were found by a farmer who alerted the police. At first, Buchwald continued his claim the two had been kidnapped. Police did have a letter left at Watson's parents' house, supposedly sent by the kidnapper, that had satanic markings all over it. Look, the sign of the beast there.
Right.
But after being confronted by police, with their suspicions, of course, Buchwald quickly gave up the act and admitted he staged the whole thing.
Aw.
When asked
What a
why,
twist.
why would you do this? Why would you put your girlfriend, your family, everyone through this ordeal? Why did he do it? He admitted he was trying to convince her to marry him so that they basically could have sex.
Yeah.
And get this celibacy stuff. Let's put that in the rearview mirror. You want to get laid. So he basically did it for fucking. He did it for the sex.
He did it all for the nookie. On the nookie.
This is entirely over the top antics to try and get some pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We've all gone to some great lengths.
It's just a little much.
But this,
It's a little-
I
you went a
gotta
little
say, I admire his pluck. But the fact that A, it didn't work out, and B, he basically had to admit to the cops that he was so down bad that he had to stage a kidnapping in hopes that the chick would sleep with him.
And you would think that's the end of the story, right? That's the end of it.
Is there a double dodeca twist?
It gets even weirder.
Gippsland man appeals kidnap sentence. A Gippsland man who staged the kidnap of his girlfriend and fled the country disguised as an Indian. Missed that. What? Is appealing his sentence and conviction.
So this is a few years later. This is like a follow-up to this.
Julian Buchwald and Carolyn Watson, 17, went missing from his parents' farm in Streleki Ranges.
I'm assuming this is some small town fucking Australian shit.
The county court heard Miss Watson was dragged into a car by a man wearing a baklava and tied up. Balaclava, sorry. Not baklava.
He's wearing a baklava.
You want some flaky Turkish dessert, you son of a bitch?
Yes, I'll take some. Yes, thank you.
Before being driven to a remote bushland in the country.
Yeah, we covered that. So her clothes cut off.
So he's appealing the sentence. Why?
He confessed to it. He was found guilty,
blah, blah, blah.
but he remained on bail.
Okay.
Failed to appear in court in Morwell for sentencing. He was arrested in Singapore after trying to flee Australia disguised as an Indian.
No, it happens.
The court held Buchwald obtained a false Indian passport, dyed his hair, and darkened his eyebrows as part of his escape plan.
This is a guy that comes up with some elaborate fucking schemes right here. This guy does not think small. You know what? This dude, he needs to be in a creative field somewhere, because this guy, he has big, bombastic ideas for every fucking situation. This guy's like a real life fucking, cartoon character or something. These are not practical fucking solutions to problems.
Well, he's out. This happened in 2011, so he's out by now anyways. He was sentenced in absentia to 7 years, 9 months in prison, with additional 6 months for fleeing the country. Bad boy.
What a naughty boy.
Coming this November, the Prime Original Series, Buckwald.
I want to see it. I want to go find this guy
Who
and make
would
a
play
documentary about him,
Buckwald?
dude.
Like, who would you get to play Buckwald?
Him. Get the real guy.
No.
I'm going to find him. I'm going to make a documentary about this guy. I figured out what I'm making.
You want to
in
make?
my movie.
I don't want to make a documentary. I want to make a fucking Netflix series about.
I want to
him,
go. I want to just go find him and turn on the camera and fucking film his hijinks.
So you want to do?
Blockbuster hit of the fucking summer, dude.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think his
Biggest grossing
hijinks are all
documentary
that.
ever.
I don't think his hijinks are all that hijinky right now. He's fucking in prison.
No, he's definitely out by now.
What's happened? This part of the story happened in 2011. So even if he did 7 years, yeah, he did his time.
Yeah, he's out.
Free man.
Unless he fucking did something else in the interim, which
maybe.
maybe he fucking did because he's pretty fucking nuts. But you know, poor Buckwald, dude.
Fucking Buckwald.
Who the fuck is this?
Do you not know who this is?
Who
TJ?
the fuck is this fucking
Do you not
prick?
know who this is? TJ?
Do you not know the countenance of the littlest general when you see him, TJ?
Ah, you offend me, TJ.
Conqueror of Europe. Unifier of the French peoples.
Ah.
Napoleon.
Napoleon!
So Napoleon returns from exile, rallying an army with his words alone.
That's
Fucking
right.
A.
Damn, dude, what a fucking twist, huh, TJ?
Amen, brah.
It's like,
Look at
hey,
this dude.
I'm
Look
raising
at
my
this
hand
dude
up.
fucking like literally like hugging Napoleon's leg, humping him like a fucking dog. Just like, please, Napoleon.
Oh, Napoleon, you
Napoleon!
are so beautiful. I make
Please.
love to your leg if you allow me, sir.
Lick the leg.
You-
Yeah, they are doing it, dude.
they like to do it for real. Fuck.
I
Even
felt
back in the day.
betrayed recently when I found out that Napoleon wasn't actually short.
Yeah.
Like he was actually like average height for a Frenchman, and the whole little general thing was like a term of endearment. It wasn't meant to describe his stature. It was meant to be like
He was
he's a
average
general, but he's close to us.
Yes.
He's,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So close to the common people.
Close to the
Yeah,
little
he's
people.
like, he's of us, kind of.
Right.
So you can scroll down. We're going to read this parts of this article here.
Okay.
The ranks opened suddenly, and a figure stepped into view. He was taller than many of his enemies described him, taller and leaner. The angles of his face clearly defined. His eyes were colder than depicted in the paintings and the propaganda, and his sparkled with a strange ferocity as he surveyed the lines of armed men before him. The 5th Infantry Regiment had leveled their weapons. The barrels of their guns held steady as the small army advanced towards them. Napoleon Bonaparte had returned. The old emperor had moved quickly, but word of his approach moved quicker still. It was said that he and his men were yet to fire a single shot in their defense, and his words alone were enough to win the people to his cause. He promised free elections, political reform, a new era of peace and empowerment for the citizens of France. It was a stirring message, uplifting and powerful. Wherever he went, his forces swelled. By the time he reached Grenoble, however, the royalist authorities were aware of his progress, holding a line across the road, their rifles aimed squarely at Napoleon's oncoming troops. The 5th Infantry Regiment were ready and waiting. And less than just 10 months ago, France's greatest general had been sent into exile. Gotta go live on an island, Napoleon.
Man, that's messed up. That is so messed up. Like Napoleon, he really was France's like, and I really think it was after they did this to Napoleon that France started to earn its tradition of being a bunch of pussies.
Yep.
I really
So
do.
Napoleon.
That's true. You're right.
Yep, Napoleon. That's
Because prior to that, they were one of the greatest militaries on the face of the earth.
oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
But then after they fucking kicked Napoleon out,
not just militaries too, but their people. Like the French Revolution was brutal as fuck. Average people rose up and fucking, did
they
what they had
killed
to
the
do.
king, man. They
But
killed how many fucking people have how many times has the mob actually killed the fucking king?
But after they
Not
cucked,
many.
after they cucked to the royalists and exiled Napoleon, France has just been the land of fucking pussies since, dude.
Oh, Jerry Lewis. I drink a wine.
Croissant.
Yeah.
Oh, croissant package. You know, spot on. By the way,
So Napoleon had some setbacks. He had to surrender to his enemies, abdicate his throne. He was then exiled to Elba, and there to live out the rest of his days in seclusion, while the powers of Europe rebuilt their nations.
bullshit.
Of course, it was not to be. From his new home, Napoleon had watched as tensions escalated across the continent. The Congress of Vienna, where heads of state from throughout Europe had gathered to redefine their borders, was always going to be a difficult situation. Well, no shit. Europe just liked to fucking have war after war, culminating in World War I and II. However, against a backdrop of increasing civil unrest in France, fueled by the actions of the new royalist regime, it looked as if peace was to be short-lived. Returning to their country for the first time in years, the old French nobility mistreated everyone from the veterans of Napoleon's wars to the lower class in general. They're royalists, of course. They're pieces of shit.
Yeah, French nobility. Fuck them.
So, of course, they came back and said, like, yeah, remember how it used to be under us?
We are back.
Let's get to the end. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of gives you, Europe, of course, turmoil. The royalists are back. Not treating people very well. Not treating the lower class as well.
Cuck to the royals. See, this is why there's a different fucking character between Europeans and Americans, man. These Europeans all got a history of cucking to the royals, and us Americans, our only history is telling royals to go fuck themselves several times, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And singing old Yankee Doodle Dandy.
The only
With
fucking
like a
mistake
bandage, dude, with like a bandage around one eye and like a crutch, and you're playing the flute, though. That's all we have, dude. That's all we care about. We don't give a fuck about a royal.
We should have sent over somebody. The only fucking thing America didn't do right, after we won the Revolutionary War, we should have sent someone over there to fucking assassinate the king in the name of America.
I think we should have done that like during, or maybe even before the war, because I think if they would have assassinated King George, his successor might have been like more progressive and more apt to like, especially if they got away with like assassinating him and not letting him know that like, hey, it was the fucking colonies that did this. Like if they covered their tracks.
It was the upstarts. Sorry.
Yeah, pinned it on some fucking salty count or some shit. You know what I mean?
Fucking Spain did it. Go
That
to
was
war
Spain.
with Spain.
Yeah, fight Spain or something. Come on.
And then they're too busy fighting Spain for us to even fucking have to worry about their ass.
Yeah.
Mhm. Good point, TJ. On the 26th of February, 1815, the exiled emperor left the island where his enemies hoped he would die. In fact, some of the French nobility were even pushing to have him assassinated, or at least move further away, as they astutely feared he might take advantage of the growing unrest. Of course, even as such plans were formulated, they were already too late. During a brief window of opportunity with both British and Spanish ships temporarily absent, how convenient,
Oopsie.
Napoleon and 1,000 loyal men left Elba and sailed away undetected. By the time word reached Paris of the exiled emperor's escape, he was back on French soil.
Uh-oh.
With tensions between the royalist nobility and the oppressed lower classes nearing the breaking point, there's no better time for the little man to show up.
He's like, hey, I'm back,
My
everybody.
time is now.
Listen, in my view, the aristocracy, they have gotten...
Look, the aristocracy is terrible. There's tensions everywhere. I'm a little guy, and I know what we need to do.
I mean, they locked me on an island, for God's sakes. This is inhuman. It's inhumane. Has to be stopped.
The people of France welcomed back their leader with open arms.
Of course they did.
Men flocked to his cause. His army had grown rapidly until Grenoble. No one had stood in his way. Now, however, the disgusting royalist troops barred the way. The 5th Infantry Regiment had taken their positions as the enemy approached. And as the vanguard of Napoleon's forces came to a halt, a tense silence fell. As the sun set, lighting up the western horizon, Napoleon strode out into the open. He was unarmed, yet showed no fear as he surveyed the lines of gleaming rifles before him. and for a moment he stood quite still, his face inscrutable. Then, without taking his eyes from the royalist regiment, he seized the front of his coat and ripped it open. "If there is any man among you who would kill his emperor," Napoleon declared, "here I stand." And what did they do?
Bowed down before him, right? That's what this painting is.
Of course, some accounts differ as to exactly what happened next, but most agree on the fundamentals of the event itself. After a moment of silence, voices within the ranks of the 5th Regiment began shouting, "Long live the Emperor! Long live the Emperor!" As the cry spread, it was taken up more and more by royalist soldiers. Before long, they had lowered their weapons, and en masse, the entire regiment joined Napoleon's army. The following day, the 7th Infantry Regiment had joined the cause, followed by an ever-increasing number of soldiers. Marshal Ney, a high-ranking royalist commander, promised the king, "I promise you, sire, that he would have Napoleon brought to Paris, bound in an iron cage, with 6,000 men in his back." Ney then proceeded to march against the imperialist army, only to swear his allegiance to Napoleon upon their meeting.
I'm going to destroy that son of a bitch.
I'll crush Napoleon.
That's my emperor, yes.
My emperor. We saw the way the tide was going.
Yeah, it's the Frost Nixon Mr. President moment all over again, dude.
By the time the army reached Paris, they were able to enter the capital city unopposed. The royalists fled before the emperor's advance, and once again,
pretty smart move.
Napoleon Bonaparte had reclaimed his throne.
I think it's time for us to go. He didn't even fucking shoot anybody. He just literally walked through, and everyone joined him. He's just like, "I'm better." Like, yeah, you are. All right.
Yeah, we'll rather have you.
These royalists are
short-lived,
idiots.
though. It's remembered in history as Napoleon's 100 Days. His fleeting return to power would, of course, end in the aftermath of the Battle of Waterloo.
Mm-hmm. Didn't work out in the long run.
Pretty awesome life, though. Like, it kind of makes me sad that this was the story that Stanley Kubrick really wanted to tell. Like, it stymied him his whole life. Nobody would fund it. You know.
Oh my God, it'd been amazing. Can you imagine shooting this scene?
He wanted to make like a fucking Napoleon biopic, basically.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
And which then became Barry Lyndon, as you know.
Well, I mean, Barry Lyndon was, in that same.
Well, it didn't become it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's what arose out of it,
sure,
because he couldn't do that project.
Yeah. So yeah, I wish I could watch the fucking Kubrick, like the full 6-hour Kubrick Napoleon movie. I would just love to see it.
You never will.
You know who this is, TJ?
You never will, Paul.
I know who this is. Looking at it right here. This is the Archduke of Flatulence, Tejonius Kirkwald.
Correct.
Damn. Cool.
You guys might know who this is.
Shakespeare?
People like to wear his mask everywhere.
Oh, Guy Fawkes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The Gunpowder Plot conspirators.
Remember.
The Gunpowder Plot, the conspiracy of English Roman Catholics to blow up Parliament and King James I, his queen, his eldest son, on November 5th, 1605. The leader of the plot, Robert Catesby, together with 4 co-conspirators, Thomas Winter, Thomas Percy, John Wright, and Guy Fawkes, definitely the most famous one in modern times.
Why, though? Because it sounds like he wasn't even the head guy.
Well, because they made a hyper stylized movie about people rebelling against a totalitarian government, and they picked him as the central mask figure or whatever.
Yeah, we're zealous Roman Catholics, angered by James's refusal to grant more religious toleration to Catholics.
Damn bastards.
They apparently hoped that the confusion that would follow the murder of the king, his ministers, and the members of parliament would provide an opportunity for the English Catholics to take over the country. Seize it back. Next slide, please, TJ. Oh, shit. It's like, yeah, here, I got some ideas about this plot. I got some plot and stuff going on.
This fucking TJ, I remember you were talking a while ago, like, I want to fucking stand out, have some fashion stuff that looks different, dude. Fucking just hire a designer and say, I want to look like this dude right here. Dude, tell me that wouldn't be dope. The ruffled collar, A fucking kind of armored doublet with the fucking ostentatious hat, dude. You'd fucking like, dude, amazing.
Yeah, dude.
You
Dude,
wax your
cape and
beard
shit?
and point it like that too. Wax it and have it point straight out. You know what I mean? Oh my god, bro. There you go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
A little cape.
So-called Britain's most notorious traitor, Guy Fawkes,
Dope.
is remembered because he tried to blow up the House of Parliament in 1605. Which, I mean, hey, we haven't talked about.
I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, some persecution or whatever. I mean, look, everyone wants to complain. I'm persecuted.
But he did something about it.
Yeah. Like, you know what? Us Catholics are being subjugated.
He wasn't content to just be like, oh, I'm persecuted. Here's my tweet. No, he did something.
Yeah. That's
Tried
something.
Not that I'm advocating anything.
That
but, you know,
something was
not that I
called terrorism and treason.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Might be a little thing called terrorism, but
It's
whatever.
bad. Don't do it.
Early terrorism, too. So I guess next...
I mean, V for Vendetta kind of said to do it. So, you know, blame V
What?
for Vendetta, you know.
They didn't say that, TJ.
I mean, it just said, like, if a fucking fascist authoritarian government were to arise.
If that were to happen in theory,
If something like that were to happen, then it'd be okay.
then the people should rise up, yeah.
Only then, though.
But only then.
But obviously,
Well, I mean, that's
we're not there yet.
Yeah, we don't live
So
there.
don't do that.
Bad. Don't do it. Next slide, please, TJ.
Cool.
Here's all the co-conspirators here. Guy Fawkes there. Robert Catesby, the leader. Thomas Winter. Christopher Wright. Robin Winter. Bates. Who's Bates? I don't know Bates. He's got to be Bates, though.
These dudes all look fucking identical to one another, dude. They all wear the same ass hat, got the same ass beard.
Looks like Guy Fawkes is smoking. some
Except
shit,
for
too.
Bates, dude. Bates looks like he's a pretty degenerate guy.
Yeah.
Bates is like, yeah, I'm Bates.
Shorts for Master Bates.
I can see why the rest of them have beards when I look at Bates over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck, dude. If I had like that scraggly, I'd grow a beard, too. You scroll down a little bit here, TJ?
Scroll down.
No,
Oh,
here.
here. I got you.
Yes.
Stupid son of a bitch.
Next slide, please.
Scotty.
So Fawkes and his co-conspirators placed 36 barrels of gunpowder in the cellar beneath the House of Lords.
That's a lot of boom boom powder, man.
That's quite a bit. I mean, that's barrels, too. It's not like they
Yeah.
just put, like, you know, like, barrels are fucking...
That's a lot of
Yeah,
boom
barrels
boom
are
powder.
large.
They're large.
Truth.
You ever seen a barrel before, TJ?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
I've never seen a barrel before. I
Ah.
don't even know how big they are.
Ah. Big.
But as they continue to work out specifics, they realize a lot of innocent people would be killed if they did, in fact, blow up Parliament. Oh, that is true. If we
Wait,
blow up
what?
an entire building, many innocent people will die. I guess that just
That
came
was like
later.
a slow dawn. Like, wait a minute, you guys.
Some being those who fought to defend the Catholics, so even their allies would be killed.
It's like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't do this.
So, of course, as people do, several of the plotters started to have some second thoughts. And one conspirator is thought to have written to Lord Monteagle to warn him to avoid Parliament on the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. The day of the opening, which the king would be present. And I actually found the letter, but it was just like, I didn't think it would help with the episode, but it was like, pray, sir, do not attend Parliament upon this day. Shit like that. Fawkes, however, carried on with the plot, even though at that time it was widely believed at that point that, I mean, look, the jig was up. They knew they were plotting something. But Guy Fawkes, like, you know what? And Robert Catesby were like, let's try it anyways. What's the worst that could happen? We're going to be killed by the king or whatever. Like, maybe we'll succeed still. Maybe they won't take the warning seriously. But, of course, he was captured in the bowels of Parliament with all his gunpowder and sentenced to one of the worst executions imaginable by order of King James, which for some reason I didn't pull what the execution was, but whatever. The actual ringleader, Catesby, was never tried for his conspiracy to blow up Parliament, instead being killed while making his escape. So he's like, you know what, they can shoot me or they can beat me to death, but they ain't not gonna boil me alive or whatever they fucking did to Guy Fawkes.
Let's find out.
I'm looking
What
it
did
up
they do to
right
him?
now, actually.
Okay, Paul's on it.
Yeah.
What did they do to old Guy Fawkes? Because I'm sure he probably got something horrible like that. He probably got boiled alive or poisoned or some crazy shit.
They kicked him in the nuts.
Hold on. Give me a sec here.
It's all good.
Yeah. I know his life. Scotty's helped us with that.
Yeah, how he died.
Yeah, how was he executed? Because I'm sure that, I mean, we try to kill the king. You're not going to get like a little like, all right, slap on the wrist. You just tried to kill the king, and all the lords. I mean, you're going to get a pretty harsh punishment.
The sentence had required that the prisoner be dragged behind a horse from their prison cell to the scaffold and then hung from the scaffold. So he was dragged by a horse from his prison cell all the way to the scaffolding and then forced to climb up and basically climb into his own noose.
Sounds fun.
Good
So I
chance.
guess it could have been worse for him, trust me. But
Yeah. Right, getting dragged by a horse does not sound fun, but doesn't sound that bad. Even though it was unsuccessful, the Gunpowder Plot has become a major part of English history. And I don't know, maybe the British fans of the show, or English fans, whatever you want to call yourselves, is commemorated every November 5th with fireworks displays and a historic bonfire onto which a dummy Guy Fawkes, simply known as Guy, is placed. I don't know if that's true, but maybe it is. So remember this plot was, it was all to try to help the lives of the Roman Catholics in England. But of course, their crime actually had the opposite impact. Actually, it caused much injury to the Roman Catholics in England at the time. Laws against Roman Catholics were immediately increased in severity, and the gradual advance of towards sort of religious toleration was put back for centuries. The plot bitterly intensified Protestant suspicions of Catholics and led to rigorous enforcement of the recusancy law, which fined those who refused to attend Anglican services. So the plot backfired. Imagine that.
Yeah. Shouldn't have worried about them damn innocent people. Should have blown up the damn building. Stupid fucks.
Yeah, if that guy hadn't done that, if they hadn't
Fucking
spilled
pussy. What's that
veins-
motherfucker that fucking ratted him out? Monteagle? Who did this?
I forget what, but one of the conspirators did. I think his name was like Trenchy or something.
Yeah,
or
Trenchy fucking
Treach or
sucks.
something. Yeah,
Blow me, Trenchy, you fucking piece of shit.
I don't know if it's exact. It was like, but yeah, one of the plotters did.
Garbage.
this is kind of funny about Guy Fawkes's execution. It is said that he cheated the agony of the death that was set up for him by climbing too high up the ladder and jumping with the noose around his neck so that it would snap his neck. So like the mythology, and it seems like there's some different stories too. Some say that it was like he totally escaped it, and then I found like two others that say like, no, he was tortured for 3 days, but they both differ in how he was supposedly tortured. So it just sounds like that, like he was
tortured.
Yeah, it's just mythology. He probably just was in jail for a while and hung, is what it sounds like. And now after death, he was quartered. And his body, this is after death, but his body was sent to the four corners of the kingdom as a warning against traitors. So there you go.
All right, well, we have one little brief one here.
One last brief one.
One last little shorten to round out
A suspected
the
double
fucking list,
homicide turns out to be a very weird sort of coincidence almost.
Is this another devil one?
It is not.
Oh, okay. I thought
This is a lot more, I'd say a lot more normal. This could actually happen to somebody. You know what I mean? Like not that saying there's other ones couldn't, but this is something that could very easily happen to a couple people. On August 3rd, 2017, a neighbor found the bodies of two Frenchmen, 69-year-old, what a great age to die at, Lucien Perrault, and 38-year-old Oliver Boudin, who seemed to have died during a lavish dinner. Oh, suspicious. At first, the Athon du Péché police assumed that they had died from food poisoning. When they tested the famous but when testing by the famous Pasteur Institute in Paris concluded the meal didn't contain any botulism, a mysterious murder mystery was suddenly on the table. But who had killed these men? And how? Why? I mean, like, why would just a couple old guys? I mean, and these are not them. These are just two old French dudes I found. The police found no signs of struggle, so that's strange. The two men hadn't had any enemies and led pretty simple, normal lives, said the one neighbor. They were certainly not the sort of people to be picked off by the mafia. It wasn't like they owed somebody money or a loan shark or something. The mystery gripped the nation. The curiosity quickly turned depressing when doctors finally determined the real cause of death. Perrault had literally bit off more than he can chew. He choked to death on a 1.5 ounce chunk of steak. So he choked. But what about the other guy? This could have been prevented by the younger Boudin, but he was busy dying of a heart attack triggered by the sight of his lifelong friend being slowly strangled by a bit of cow. When the news was revealed, locals were heartbroken by such a stupid death.
Wow. That's kind of like a bittersweet, sad plot twist, you know?
But of course, them being the French, they said, but life itself is meaningless. And have no point. Oh, he died drinking the wine. He died eating the beef. And what his friend do? His friend can save him, but his heart said, no more, no.
Scotty's Frenchman sounds like a Middle Eastern guy.
I don't know, whatever.
Oui.
Oui.
I am Frenchman. I see anything. I talk like this because I am Frenchman. Yes.
I disagree with Paul's assessment, but whatever.
I love it, dude. No.
I am French.
It's great.
No. Oui. Poo-poo. Ha. I am the Frenchman.
I am a Frenchman. That is all I have for you.
You want the baguette? You shove the baguette up your ass. Huh?
You want the baklava? I give to you.
Deep Fat Fried. Deep Fat Fried. Deep Fat Fried. Deep Fat Fried.